Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Football Temple Nigeria, and this is the Premier League Weekend Edition. My name is Nemeko Dinibo, and I am not doing this alone. I'm doing this with my brother.
My name is James. It's so good to be back in the temple.
Yes, after the amazing Champions League performance
I
by...
feel like ringing this bell.
Please ring it for Liverpool. Mike, because Liverpool they work alone. Then just they work alone since and it's lost start this season.
And don't forget that our brother we talk say I would defeat Everton. I would defeat Everton.
Our brother said they lose to Everton with 10 men for Old Trafford.
What a shame.
Quite shameful.
I don't talk anything. No.
So we're back to the Premier League after that, fine run of form by some Premier League teams. Tottenham and PSG been they play basketball. Liverpool were walking alone. But Arsenal and Chelsea, an amazing week for them. Manchester City,
nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found. I feel bad for them though, but Arsenal, Chelsea, great week for them in the Champions League. Both of them won at home against very big oppositions, German and Spanish champions respectively. But we're back to the Premier League, and we're starting with both Arsenal and Chelsea because that is the big game for the weekend. This weekend, Sunday, 5:30 p.m., Arsenal will be facing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
That's right.
The world champions are at home against the league leaders. What do you make of this game?
So I saw something on Twitter, and the person said the article of us, the article of England.
Who be the article of England?
Arsenal.
Then the contest plenty.
So honestly, looking at that game, Chelsea versus Arsenal, I think if I were to be a team right now, I wouldn't want to face Arsenal. I wouldn't advise myself to face Arsenal because Arsenal is in a very, very fine form right now. You have to choose how you intend to, play against Arsenal. Is that you come out to attack and get love goals at the back of your net, or stay back defending and still get goals into your net. So it's going to be a very tough game for Chelsea, not Arsenal. For Arsenal, it's going to be easy peasy because they have the players, they have the qualities.
So you think Arsenal is unbeatable? Like for you, as this Arsenal team is a no play team. Like you can't even stand a chance against them. Is that what you think?
This Arsenal team is a team that you have to sweat to beat them. You have to go through a lot to beat them because see what happened against Arsenal Sutherland, and you see how it was so tough in that game. So you really have to get everything right against Arsenal because when they do against you, it's going to be go galore.
So let's give it to them. Let's pin it down to something. Arsenal, Chelsea, this weekend, Stamford Bridge. You've made point about how this is going to be a very difficult game for Chelsea, even though they are playing at home, and even though they had a fine run of form within the week in the Champions League game against Barcelona. I want you to give me a scoreline. Arsenal, Chelsea, Sunday, 7 p.m. in the evening. Who do you think is going to come out?
Well, Arsenal, Chelsea. I don't even see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet against. I don't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal. I would tip Arsenal to score 6 goals against Chelsea. And I'm not saying it because I want to say it. I'm saying this because they've done it before. They did 5-0, which of last season, and
6 goals.
Now I'm tipping them to go 6.
My
against
God,
Chelsea.
That's one higher than the last
and that
time.
is because I have watched the way Chelsea have been playing overtime in the Premier League. They don't have solid defenders. Roberto Sanchez himself.
Don't you think you're writing Chelsea off easily? Because let's face it, they're second in the league. They are coming off a fire run of form. The victory against Barcelona would surely give them confidence to take on Arsenal, and they're playing at home at Stamford Bridge.
Even if they beat the champions of Nigerian League, they cannot beat Arsenal. This Arsenal team is not ready to hear anything from them.
I better go be champions of Nigerian League.
They are not ready to listen to anything else than win. And Chelsea right now, Chelsea is not a team that would be able to handle pressure. It was Arsenal the other way around. They can handle this pressure. They can play any way that you want them to play against them.
And
defend, attack.
And I think that's what's scary about this.
Let's keep it eye line.
Yeah,
they are good. But with Chelsea, the question should be: Would Chelsea be able to handle the pressure from Arsenal
I think one of the things that is scary about this Arsenal team, and I have to say this, is the fact that they can play any style of
any style?
football that you want them to play with you. If you want Arsenal to play defensive, I remember there was a time when all you could even use to beat Arsenal is just get physical and very rough with them, and they would just break in a way that would not be recognizable. There was a time when if you needed to beat Arsenal, just get the referee to make one bad decision against them, and you could see them crack.
Or go
There
low
was a
block.
you get there was a time when if you wanted to beat Arsenal, disqualify a goal, call an unfair judgment, give them a penalty, give them a red card. These days, none of this seems to matter to the Arsenal team, and it's beautiful to see how they've resurfaced and how they keep getting better every season. So, for people who say that they are the Atiku of the Premier League, it's funny because Atiku Abubakar is actually an Arsenal fan. He's a very proud Arsenal fan, and maybe if Arsenal wins the trophy this season, maybe Atiku finally has a shot at the presidency because he's been trying for so long. But then that remains to be seen. And this is football, not politics, by the way. So moving on from that, let's get down to Goodison Park, Everton. That amazing stellar performance against Manchester United.
Brave team.
Amazing
10 men.
team,
10
brave
men.
team, beautiful goal, beautiful goal. Even though I thought that red card was very avoidable, unnecessary red card, unnecessary or just unnecessary attitude on the pitch there. But Everton pulled that amazing win off against the Manchester United
And
team
Manchester
at
United need
Old
to be
Trafford
ashamed.
with 10 men. And this weekend, they are
They're going up against Newcastle. And when you look at Everton themselves, like I said, not really one of those teams that you want to play at home, because whenever they are at home, they always want to give in their best. And Davis Moyes also loves and knows how to play, at the Goodison Park, and having to see what they've been able to do against Manchester United with 10 men down. I think it's one of those things that you need going into your next game.
I think that has to be like one of the beautiful moments of this season for me, because if you're playing with 10 men and you go down so early and you go ahead to score and win away at Manchester United at Old Trafford. I mean, forget this Ruben Amorim era. I mean, Old Trafford is Old Trafford. That stadium has a lot of history. It's called the Theatre of Dreams. So many trophies have been won there. One of the most successful clubs in world football. So being able to win there with 10 men is a big deal. And they are going up against Newcastle United this weekend at Goodison Park. Newcastle has also had a fine run of form this season. And so I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to give me an exact score line for that particular game.
I'm going to give Everton 2 and Newcastle 1. I see Everton winning, against
You
Newcastle.
see Everton winning.
Yeah.
I see. And you don't think Newcastle stand a chance?
Newcastle, well, they are also a strong side, but they are also one of those teams that are
Don't
not
you think they can pull off a surprise?
Nah, not at Goodison Park. Everton for me will definitely win that game by 2 goals to 1.
Okay, from Goodison Park, we are heading to the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City, sorry, will be taking on
Leeds,
Leeds
and that's
United.
more like an easy peasy for Manchester City because they won't want to lose.
I mean, even with their bad run of forms
They won't want
recently,
to lose. They've had enough L's. They lost to Newcastle, they lost to Leverkusen, and coming back to the Premier League, you won't want to take another L because when Arsenal does extend the lead, it's more like you giving Arsenal the lead easily that way. So they will try everything possible, and I don't see Leeds stopping them because Leeds also they are not also in a fine form.
so give us a score line. Manchester City, Leeds United, Etihad Stadium.
3-0, Alan 2 goals.
Haaland, you are tipping him to win the Golden Boot this season. So even though Manchester City has not been in
I
best of
tip him
form,
to also score this weekend.
Brentford versus Burnley.
Brentford Burnley, that game for me is going to be a draw game. Both sides are two very conservative. Burnley likes hold
They like to
back,
play it
low
safe,
block, and
yeah.
all of those things. Brentford also sometimes could be that team. if only they could take more of their chances. They have Igor in their team leading their attack, and also having to see the fact that they sold some players off
They
the
did,
team,
yeah.
but yet they've been able to still grind out some results. At the start of the season, they had like some good fine form, scoring goals, but this is Burnley, yeah, and trust me, they could also come with some surprises.
Some
I see that
surprises.
game ending in draw,
Okay.
0-0 or 1-1.
Interesting. Sunderland will be playing at the Stadium of Light against the AFC Bournemouth. How do you see that one
I
going?
th- I think AFC Bournemouth should just forget that game. This is
You think
Sunderland at
Sunderland will
home.
win?
Sunderland
Sunderland
has a
has they've had an
very
amazing
fine
season.
form, very very fine form at home. I
Yeah.
see what they did to Arsenal when Arsenal came to their stadium. It was not an easy game against Arsenal, and it was so fantastic to see the way they play. At home they play very comfortably. They play with so much
With
excitement,
so
and when
much
you watch
confidence.
them play, you're like, this is really fantastic. They're a very physical team. They
Yeah.
chase the ball, follow you man for man, and they don't even give you chance to have any breathing space. And they're playing at home. This is something that Bournemouth would have to look into. But at the end of the day, I don't see them edging over Sutherland. I
Sunderland.
see Sutherland winning that game 2-1.
Okay. Um, Tottenham Hotspur versus Fulham, the London Derby.
Tottenham Hotspur, Fulham, Tottenham Hotspur versus Fulham. That's also a good London derby. Looking at Tottenham
The
lost.
Battle of the White Angels.
Tottenham lost to Arsenal last London derby, and
And they
also
were
the
playing basketball in Paris with
with-
PSG.
so it's one of
8
those
goals in
games
one
that
match.
you have to watch out for. And then looking at Fulham when it comes to derby, they are always a
But I
very
think
tough nut to crack.
personally for me, I think Tottenham would edge out Fulham. Not just because they are at home, but because they've had a couple of shitty runs in the last couple of games, and I think they would want to get one over Fulham and just find their way back to the mix of things when it comes to getting 3 points.
I actually don't really see Tottenham edging Fulham, because also Fulham, when it comes to the derby game, they are always a very stubborn side, and Marco Silva
Yeah,
knows how to get that point. If they don't end up getting the 3 points, they must surely leave it away with 1 point. And I see that game ending in draw for both teams. Tottenham has not really been fantastic. Fulham also has not really been that team that you get to know them last season, that they were causing trouble in the Premier League. This season they've been a bit on and off, here and
they
there.
won their last game, courtesy of an assist from Samuel Chukwueze, and they,
And that was even
they've
against
just.
Sutherland and having to escape with 1-0 win. So I really do not see that game ending in favor of Tottenham, like you said. And since the derby, I see that game ending in draw.
No, there are so many draw games for you this weekend.
Draw.
Aston Villa will be playing at Villa Park against Wolverhampton Wanderers. How do you think that will turn out? Aston Villa, Unai Emery has done a really decent job, an amazing job by Villa standards, if I must add, because last season they went all the way to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Great run they had there, only edged out by the eventual winners, PSG. So how do you see this particular game turning out?
I think Wolves, for me, would not stand any chance against Aston Villa. And having to see that, they've got a couple of players like Rogers, who's in great form. You could see what he's been doing with his national team in England, and also what he did with last weekend with Aston Villa. He's one of those players that you really want to watch.
So it's a straight victory for
It's a,
Aston
it's a
Villa for
very
you.
straight victory for Naeem and his team. So not Wolves. Wolves want to be that team to be able to stop Aston Villa this time around. Except maybe miracles happen. You never
I
can
believe
say.
in miracles. Anyway, so Aston Villa straight win for you on that particular one. And from there we'll move to Nottingham Forest versus Brighton. Nottingham Forest playing Brighton, and Forest is playing at home.
And one of the beautiful part about these two features is because when you look at Brighton this season, they've not really been spectacular. Brighton used to be that team that you always
Yeah.
want to watch out
I
for.
mean,
They always want to cause that upset.
to be
But this
fair,
season
they
has
sell a
been
lot of players. Brighton has become an academy for a lot of top teams in England.
they
So
they always sell players, and they have enough data to replace players, and you wonder how they get to be able to
information.
to get this right potentials as replacement. You see, they sold Caicedo, now they have Baleba. They sold Trossard. They sold João Pedro to Chelsea. Seeing all
They've
of
sold a lot
this
of
team,
players
and
in the
when you
last
look at Nottingham Forest, for me, good game. They just defeated the champions of England. That was Liverpool last
three.
weekend.
They
Had
thrashed them.
and that was so much that this is even enough to go into the weekend. Say,
So
yeah,
Nottingham Forest for you.
Nottingham Forest would win that game. So much
Give
confidence,
us
so
a
much.
scoreline.
I would go with 2-1.
Ah,
Two
interesting.
one.
And finally, on our list this weekend, the defending champions of England and our respected elder brothers have been walking alone. Liverpool has been walking alone for the last couple of weeks. Shambolic Champions League performance, at Anfield against PSV and Eindhoven. They lost 4-1. The
My
weekend before that, they lost to Nottingham Forest 3-0. It just seems like these guys can't stop getting pumped with goals.
my advice to Liverpool fans right now, I beg you, do everything you can to make sure that Liverpool end up letting Slot leave, because you cannot in any way be accepting such performance. Look at what's happening now. Every team is looking forward to play Liverpool because of their shambolic result, and
I mean,
there's so much confidence coming. Oh, if PSV can do this to
yes, we
Liverpool,
can.
we also can do this to Liverpool. And they've been losing back to back, which is not something that
I mean, to be fair,
every fan of Liverpool would want to experience. It's not really been that Liverpool of that with so much fantastic output, with so much high flying performances. This season has been, oh, Salah is missing. It's been, oh, the players are not clicking. It's been, oh, no
I
defense,
just
and
think
it's not really been
Liverpool
pleasing in the eye.
Liverpool has an almost brand new front. I mean, with the exception of Mo Salah, who has been there for a very long time. The front line, a lot of the guys manning the attacking part of the team are new. Ekitike is new, from which is new. Alexander Isak is new, and it just seems to me like all of these gladiators are struggling to actually blend in. I've seen, conversations on social media around whether an slot should be sacked or he should stay. I personally happen to think that while his performances and the performances of his team has been shambolic, really shambolic, this season, I think that him coming to the Premier League, first season winning the Premier League title, that alone should earn him more grace and more time to see if he can be able to put his acts together and get these guys to start winning. Because no doubt about it, he has a fantastic set of individual players, but being able to blend them together, build his own team philosophy, because he was riding off the wave of Jurgen Klopp's
Again,
um era, and I think that's what also won him the trophy last season. It's what won him the trophy last season. But I don't think it's such a terrible
I think
manager.
I think it's a scam for me, because after spending that huge amount of money,
Scams don't win the
no,
Premier League in their first season.
no, I keep saying it. The only reason why Slot was able to win was because he should be thankful that Arsenal had so much of injuries to worry about. Key players were out, and the fact that Mikel Arteta had to even finish with second position was really really was so much kudos to him, because how would you manage players playing out of position, having to compete? Doesn't work that way. Now look at this season; they are nowhere to be found, and you cannot tell me that you should be given so much time. You spent so much money in this transfer window, and
I mean,
you
it's
know
just we're just 13 to 14 games
the
into the season.
the fans does not really care about let's give him them, because you were giving money. You got in Isaac, also known as the Sakaba. You got in Ekiti Kite. You
I
got
saw
in
I saw something
you
online
brought in
now.
Florian Wirtz.
Somebody, football bands can be very crazy. Somebody said Florian Wirtz signed a no score, no assist contract with Liverpool, and he has not told the rest of the
So
world
when you get players
because
like this and you're not getting results, they have to be someone asking the question,
and
what's happening, slots? What's happening
which
to
is
this team?
why which is why I happen to think that He's kind of like struggling to make these guys blend. Remember last season they had Luis Diaz, they had Mo Salah, Sadio Mane was already out, and Firmino had also left. But you had I think Nunes seemed to even understand the system better, even though he wasn't such a stellar performer. He underperformed when you compare um you Darwin Nunes reminded me of Andy Carroll
Mm.
by all. I mean, I'm just going to do a little bit of a throwback. I remember when Liverpool signed Andy Carroll. It was the same season they brought in Suarez.
Mhm.
They brought in Suarez, they brought in Andy Carroll, and we thought we had the pair of a lifetime. Credit to Luis Suarez, amazing striker. He went on to become one of the finest people to ever play in the Premier League. Amazing player. Forget all that biting shenanigans. On a good day, Suarez catch you one on one. Ah, okay. Sorry. But Andy Carroll underperformed. He, in fact, to say that Andy Carroll underperformed would be a disservice to the statement underperformed. Andy Carroll was a total flop, and it was insane watching him play. And what, boy, look today, Liverpool begins scamming, Newcastle begins scamming Liverpool. Liverpool, we're gonna stop to the buy player from Newcastle, especially striker, because prior to Andy Carroll moving to Liverpool from Newcastle, boy, oh boy, he was firing for more cylinders. He was so good that I was wishing at that point. I remember I was wishing Wenger would sign him, and then he moved to Liverpool, and he became a shadow of himself. He was never the same Andy Carroll that we saw again, and I think that's probably what's happening with the whole Isak situation. Um, so Liverpool, terrible run of form, but for me personally, I'd say give the guy some more games, give him some more weeks, and let's see what he comes up with.
By the time you give him 10 more games, you see Liverpool, battling with, the relegation clubs, making sure that they don't leave the
But
Premier
I,
League.
I happen to think that Liverpool are no longer in the contention for the Premier League title this season. They've not started out like people who intend to be champions. I still think, I still think very strongly that Manchester City has a better shot than Chelsea at the title, in case if Arsenal slips up along the way. But other than that, it's looking like a one horse race for the title so
By
far.
January, I strongly believe that they should be crowning Arsenal champions of England, with the
By
way it's going.
January,
With the way
that's
it is
early, bro.
going.
That's early.
That's early, but with the way it's going, you could just be seeing 17 points, 20 points, you know.
Well, God will give us life. Let's wait till January. Let's not you know, rush ahead of time. Let's wait till January. But that's the size of our package for this weekend's preview of the Premier League matches coming up. From tomorrow, the Premier League matches will kick off, and on
That's right.
Sunday we have the big
The
one:
big
Arsenal
one.
Chelsea live from Stamford Bridge. First versus second, world champions versus Premier League leaders, and incoming champions, as some people would like to add. So it's going to be a beautiful game. The world champions beat Spanish champions, and the incoming champions beat German champions. And Chelsea fans are warning me in the comment section. They said I should stop calling us the incoming champions. I'm gonna go call police. Make una call bandits. Call police. Anyway, so that's the size of our package. I have had the pleasure of doing this with Jamie.
That's right.
My name is Nemiko Denibo, and this was produced and packaged at the Dynamite Space by the Dynamite Space. So please do well to like, share, subscribe, and give us a follow. Don't forget, this is Football Temple Nigeria, and we are across all platforms as Football Temple NG. So, see you after the weekend's game. Thank you very much.